If you're a hockey fan, you probably have jerseys. And if you're a jersey fan, you probably have a lot of jerseys. For some of us, it's a lifestyle. It's $250 because the reverse retro is on sale. Everyone has a story with their jersey. We want to hear all of them. Every day is a jersey day, but today is Jersey Thursday. Some water. Is that a beer?
This is caffeine.
Okay, smart. I'm just going by regular, good old-fashioned willpower.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, and then I'm going to get some wine into me once... I usually get the wine into me in second period because Johnny's Wine Cave. But
hey, yeah.
It's NBC, and there's no equivalent except Vegas fanboys.
The NBC broadcast will make you drink.
NBC broadcast will make me do a lot of things, like heavy. I have a bottle of Wild Turkey back there, and I've been meaning to knock a lot of that back, and watching NBC will do the job.
Yes, this is the current Avalanche home jersey. No number, no name on the back. This was a little reward to myself. I bought this when there's no bargain attached to it. This was a me gift. I went through a job change, and this was a reward for making it through that little unplanned change in careers. I bought this jersey, and ever since then, we have been climbing up and climbing up.
This one I got secondhand, and I was looking for this for a while. This is going to become probably either a Sakic or Forsberg. If it's a Sakic, I might get the 10th anniversary patch that goes. And I was
hold that arm up. One of my favorite things about that jersey is that stripe.
Oh, 100%.
That stripe, it's one of my favorite parts of that jersey. Yep. Yeah,
got the is this the Coho arm? Trying to find the Coho, one of the arms is there it is. Yeah,
yep.
Coho arm.
Yep. Yeah, I that stripe is just.
And we're here with Shaggy Von Doom, or as he likes to be called, Kyle Sullivan.
How's it going?
And as everyone can see, you have quite a number of jerseys to show off today.
Just a few.
Just a few. A little bit. I can count, let's see, 2, 3, good number of them.
Yes.
So before we get started, went into the creation of the wall.
The creation of the wall, I started doing a little bit more projects with Lockdown Avalanche and various podcasts that during the pandemic, Zoom became popular, and I always had a jersey hanging from my bed, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I had an unutilized bedroom. I was like, you know what? I can just take all my jerseys that hang in the closet and really just make a nice backdrop, which doubles as sound dampening. So it's a win-win for the podcast situation. So anytime I'm on a Zoom call of any kind, the backdrop's there. It's a conversation starter because, little known fact, I live in Birmingham, Alabama, just south of Birmingham, Alabama, and it's not typically known for hockey. So I'm all about advancing the game around here and growing the sport, and this is a good way to do it. Just have your backdrop on a Zoom call be nothing but hockey jerseys, and that really opens the door for conversation.
Oh, yeah, and that's why you have a Birmingham Bulls, or I think, is it 2? You have 2 in the back.
I have a 1970s Birmingham Bulls, the WHA, and then I have the current iteration of the from 2017 on Birmingham Bulls of the SPHL, the Southern Professional Hockey League.
And how many games, obviously this season's been a bit shaky, but how many games have you usually gone to?
I would say probably 5 to 6 a year since they've been back.
Yeah.
It's a good cheap ticket too. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those that if I have the free time, I'm at a Bulls game.
And what's the vibe like there usually? Because it's I've never honestly been to small market, full on Southern minor league?
Well, the best way to describe it, and this was good on the rebrand for the Birmingham Bulls and bringing them out of nowhere. Down here, if you've ever seen a clip of SEC football and the pandemonium that goes around with SEC football games, well, before the Bulls became, when they brought them back in 2017, they would put Alabama versus Auburn hockey games in the arena, and it would be against like University of Alabama. They'd bring SEC hockey teams in, and they'd really juice the atmosphere. And for maybe $15, you can go watch 4 hockey games.
Shit.
Like teams would come in, and you'd sit there all day and just watch hockey. And you could have like 2 squirrels fighting, and if it had an Alabama logo and a Auburn logo, people would pay money to watch it because that's just how it is around here. SEC rules the world. So when they brought the Bulls here, this is something that it didn't matter what college team you pulled for. This is a Birmingham team, and it's a loud, raucous atmosphere. We have a section 108, which is often referred to as 108. They are loud. They have cowbells because they're the Bulls. Everybody has cowbells. Our goal song is Rage Against the Machine's Bulls on Parade. It's just a incredible atmosphere. I think the arena could hold 2,500, and they are close to capacity every time.
How much do you see? Because Birmingham, even though it has that history, like with the WHA and all those great players that started there, how much do you hear about the Bulls like every day being like an SPHL team?
Around here, it's a cool, like I said, it's a cheap ticket. So a lot of people go for that, especially like if you can go inside and be around ice when it's like 90, 100 degrees out here with like 90% humidity, that's an easy sell as well. So a lot of people just are like, yeah, did you see that about the Bulls? And there's always stuff being posted about it. There's a buzz around the team always. And ever since they've come back, the atmosphere around hockey in this area is phenomenal. I was browsing around YouTube just a couple months ago, and they had players from Sweden that couldn't make their big break in like the ECHL, AHL. They were going from Sweden to Birmingham, Alabama to do tryouts with the Bulls and work their way up there, because oftentimes with the SPHL, if you start excelling, you get called up on a rental contract to the ECHL, and that's how you work your way up. So we're basically a feeder system for the feeder system, and it's a good, cheap 2 or 3 day contract. You call it back down, or we've actually got some players who have worked their way all the way up to the AHL right now.
Being from Birmingham, that's a long way from, and I can say from experience as someone who roots for the Avalanche and I'm not in Denver. What was the thing that made you become an Avalanche fan?
Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh.
Hell yeah.
When growing up, like I'm 32 years old, growing up, like watching those 3 on TV at like the age of like 6 or 7, they were like rock stars. They were like gods on ice. Watching them, and you're just like, how are these guys? And like the way they positioned themselves on the ice and how they just dominated and how they had that swag. Like Joe was super cool, and Forsberg was just like, he was like that maverick, and Patrick Waugh was like the mouthy, cocky, and backed it up with his skill. It was just out of your mind. And then as a young kid, like in the 90s, well, late 90s, early 2000s, you would like go to like Walmart, and they had the action figures of like Patrick Waugh and Joe Sakic. And in your mind, you're like, these guys must be incredible. And you just buy into that hype, and you watch them win the cup. And then again in 01, and I was hooked. I was like, there's no better sport than the game of hockey, and no one even comes close to touching Joe Sakic, Forsberg, or Waugh.
I think I have I don't know if I can move my camera a bit closer down. I have a figure there. You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yes.
It's like a little on the left, and he doesn't have a stick. He lost his stick at some point. So he's it's almost like, when you have like a rush to the net and then one of the players loses a stick at some point, and then like he's kind of skating around, takes his teammate's stick. I think that's what that Joe Sakic's going through.
Yeah, like when I was young, going back to those days, there was a pack of 2 figures. It was Joe Sakic and Wah. And I remember like playing just hundreds and hundreds of games with just those 2, just making it up in my own imagination, just playing. Like I remember the linoleum floor of the kitchen, just playing hockey games with those 2. And those 2 figures have gone the way of the Buffalo through the years. But 2 years ago for Christmas, my brother, I don't know if I can, right up there above the hats, my brother found the exact same pack of Patrick Waugh and Joe Sakic on eBay, and they are still in the pack.
I think I can kind of see, I can kind of like, I can see.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
And he found the exact same 2-pack on eBay, unopened, and that was my Christmas present, and I sobbed.
That is awesome.
Sobbed. So a lot of all of this on the wall could be traced back to those 2 figures right there.
Shit, that is.
And the kicker was he didn't even know that was the exact pack. He just said, I eBayed action figures, just seeing what I could find. He said, I saw this pack and it was like $8. I couldn't beat it. And he's like, I didn't think you would react this way. And I told him about it. And he's like, well, looks like I won Christmas. I was like, yeah.
So I can see, I'm probably missing some. I can see like about like 8 jerseys up there.
I think the only one that's out of frame right now is a custom jersey I have.
Okay.
And like a signed Joe Sakic picture, a Batman picture, and College Game Day. But all of the jerseys I have, other than the one I'm wearing, are all on this wall. Even a New Jersey Devil.
Oh, I can see. I missed the Devils one.
It's Mackenzie Blackwood.
That's not a bad one to have.
I'm a secret New Jersey Devils fan because that's what I do. I watch games like all the time, and I pull for the Devils. They're my team in the East, and you can kind of trace it back. Like they used to be the Rockies, like yada yada yada. So I follow the Devils. The 01 Cup stands out in my memory, so I follow the Devils as well. So I have a Mackenzie Blackwood on the wall.
Yeah. So where do we start? Because like there's literally so many areas to start with.
We can right here. This 1970s.
Fair, that's probably a good choice.
It's not just any 1970s Birmingham Bulls jersey. The WHA era. It's a Steve Durbano jersey.
No way. That is perfect.
Yes, and if anybody hasn't heard the story of Steve Durbano, you absolutely need to look it up.
Guy was I've heard stories. My dad, my dad grew up in Toronto. He used to see a lot of games on the Hamilton channel where Durbano would play hockey with I think it was the Junior Wings, and so many stories.
Yeah, there's a podcast devoted to his life. Talk about all of the most terrible things a human could do on and off the ice. Steve Durbano did it with flying colors, and I wore that jersey to the first game that the 2017 Bulls, when they came back, and the commissioner of the SPHL, I walked through the gates, I'm getting in, walk up to the merch table, and the commissioner comes over. He's like, he's like, a fan of the original Bulls, I see. And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's, yeah. And I turn around and I show him the back. He goes, Durbano? He's like, you know about Durbano? I was like, oh, yeah. So the entire first game of the Bulls coming back, I sat with the commissioner of the league, and we talked hockey the entire game. Just because of that jersey right there.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like,
so
that's probably a great moment for him. It's like he's thinking in his head, like, it worked. Something I did, like, it's like he's probably thinking in his head, like, is this going to work? Did I make a bad choice? And he's thinking, like, yeah.
And, like, the Bulls, they came back in 1991 after the WHA folded in 79-80, and the Bulls came back as an ECHL team in 1991, 92, and they lasted until 2000, and they moved to, I believe, Adirondack. And 2001, 2002 was the last time we had hockey in Birmingham. And when they played in the 90s, they were ECHL, and they had that logo that we have currently now, where it's the bull wearing a makeshift goalie mask. So I was very happy they brought back the logo and the mascot as well.
And as I said about the bull, I mean, Steve Giordano, legend. I mean, even if he just ate Bobby Hull's, like, I don't know the story. Did he eat Bobby Hull's hair? Did he throw it in the crowd? Something like that.
Yeah, he ripped his toupee off.
Yeah, the toupee.
And back in the day, this is not like form-fitting toupees. These are stapled to your head toupees. And ripped it off.
I'm fairly sure that anyone today would want to inflict pain on Bobby Hull.
He would sit on the bench and file his stick to a point, and just he wanted to inflict pain. He was a menace, and on and off the ice, he was uncontrollable. And a lot of the time, like, if he would have kept everything in control, he would be in the NHL. He just was moved so many times because of his antics and his drive for destruction. And that's what led to his eventual destruction at the end.
But onto the other players. I mean, they had Frank Mahovlich at the end of his career. Michel Goulet, I think.
Yes.
I think I'm missing Rick Vive. I think there's like a ton. Let me know if I'm missing any.
No, I do know Michel Goulet was part as well. And they had some really good matchups in the WHA before half the league absorbed in the NHL and like Birmingham dissolved. Like there were some really good matchups. Like they were never an incredible team, but they were a thorn in the side for many.
There's a lot of is that a replica Bulls jersey? The one in the 70s.
Yes.
Okay, because I know there's a lot out there where they make replicas, but I know that if you really, really, really dig hard, you can find like an old 70s replica. And that's just like a huge like gold mine.
And especially those era jerseys from the WHA, there was not a lot of mass production of those jerseys. It was just enough to get it to your team. So there was not a lot of fan, like Houston Aeros. It's hard to find merchandise or even just old jerseys of that have survived this long. It would have to be a hand-me-down at this point because it was not easily accessible. And even though it was in the middle of a pandemic, the Bulls just wrapped up a season and they had throwback night, and the first 5,000 got a replica 1970s Toro jersey. And so those are now starting to circulate again and starting to regain some popularity around here. They brought back a couple of the old former WHA Bulls for that night. But so now you can go around and in public, you could see the replicas, the new replicas. Like this one's I believe it's 05, 06 replica. Mm-hmm. But you can see some 2021 replicas out now, out in public, which is a good sight to see, especially around here.
Yeah, and is there anyone on the back of the current Bulls jersey?
This is where we get into the tricky part about some of these jerseys. I am slightly superstitious.
Okay.
Slightly superstitious when it comes to, and I'll explain that when we get to the third jersey of the Avalanche. That's where it started. The back of the current Bulls jersey is blank. All of these, the home and away of the 90s, are also blank, but the third is a Duchesne, and that's where the superstition came in.
Okay.
So we could keep going down the wall, but when we get to Matt Duchesne, there is a story behind why some of these are blank.
Okay. I think you've piqued my interest in everyone that will watch this interest.
Yeah, including the one
the one
I
that you're
have
wearing
is blank.
Oh wow!
The Matt Duchene. 3 days after I purchased this jersey, Matt Duchene left Colorado.
Okay.
And ever since then, I've had to look at a Matt Duchene third jersey, and I'm like, it hurts my heart. There was a lot of bad feelings when he left, so I'm like, never again, never again.
I don't know. It's a lot of people still hold a lot of flack for him just because of the way he left and the way the team was and everything. I don't know,
which if you buy a brand new jersey now, they have the jersey assurance. Guarantee, but that wouldn't have. I took that personal. Because in my mind, when I'm going through and purchasing these things, I'm contributing to either the player or the team. And there's a lot, I'm not just buying just because of, there's a lot of personal love and admiration for all of these jerseys and moments. And I'm invested in these jerseys, and they're more than just a sweater to me. Mm. So for that to happen, as soon as I'm throwing away the wrapper it came in, he's already booking out of town, I took that personal. I was like, okay. I broke that curse with my reverse retro, and that bit me again, but because it's a Nazem Kadri.
Oh, no. I thought, because I wasn't kind of, I saw the 9, yeah.
It is a Nazem Kadri, and ever since that hit my house, where he hit that great start to the season.
And then the slump, and then... Yeah, and now
when I got the Mackenzie Blackwood, as soon as I got that, a couple days later, he got the COVID test positive and was out. So there is basis behind my superstitions about my jerseys.
Wait, was your Duchene one the first to be cut? It was the first to be customized.
Yes.
So really, you had the Girbano before.
Yes.
And then you figured, was there kind of a bit of back and forth with getting Duchene customized?
Yes, I was like, you know what? Because I had the first jersey, my first Colorado Avalanche jersey is the 90s home. It's a starter.
Right.
But it's the 90s, that was my first one. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to have the home, I got to have an away. So I got the CCM 90s era with I love the piping on the white one, just that extra gray and that blue on the bottom piping. Those were my first two, and I was like, okay. And then I actually found the D2 Mighty Ducks jersey in a thrift store. And paid $3 for it.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay.
Whoa.
And that's where everything... Yeah. I was like, let's see where this can go.
That is crazy. No, legit, that is crazy.
And it's in great condition. Fantastic condition.
Jeez.
So...
No, I'm just... that is a perfect thrift store find.
I love, those little aspects. And, here in Birmingham, we have random hockey fans. So it's a good thing about living here, especially with the SEC teams. If you're a fan of an SEC team, wait till they have a bad season and then go to the thrift store, because fair weather fans throw everything in the thrift store. You can get the same thing after the Stanley Cup is awarded, because you get a lot of guys that bandwagon ride.
Oh yeah.
And you can get so many, even here in Birmingham, Alabama, you can get so many, I could go. My brother got a brand new Vegas Golden Knights jersey.
Really? From the 2018 run. And that is awesome. Or it's when players, I got, because Nikita Zadorov was my favorite player with the Avs for a bit, and then he gets traded, and then
his jerseys go on sale. And I'm like, I got to get one.
Yeah.
Or it's like any player, like the best was Tavares, like where he got traded and then there was like a bunch for like $50 at like Lids with him on it.
No, it would have like I would have no problem right now getting a Patrick Waugh jersey because he's not affiliated with our team. I would have a problem getting a Joe Sakic.
So if given the chance, you wouldn't get a Jared Bednar. What was the team that he played for?
The South Carolina
Thank
Stingrays.
You, Stingrays. Yeah, given the chance, you wouldn't get a Stingrays jersey.
Like I have to handle things weird because I've been burned when I make those purchases. So it's weird like that. That's why, like, I have the Mackenzie Blackwood. I thought I could avoid it from not touching the Avs, but I got it there anyway. So former players, unless they're like out of the league and retired, I have no problem with it. So, but I have to handle that a little differently.
One thing I love about that, I mean, both those Avalanche jerseys from the 90s is the shade of burgundy. Like that is still my absolute favorite shade. I mean, like this and this, like this, it's good. I mean, it's still great, but there's just an absolute apex that the team hit at the beginning with that, like it was that reddish, pinkish. It like you see
they ended that in 03, 04, I believe. I think it
was earlier. I think 99, I think.
Okay, I knew they did like a little palette swap on that original burgundy, but yes, that original burgundy even stood out on old CRT fuzzy televisions. It stood out, and if we had that color now, it would be extremely vibrant with the blue buckets we wear now and the blue pants.
Super vibrant.
Oh, I think about that often.
Like I love every time you see a photo of the 96 Cup win, like all of them lifting the cup, it's just so shiny. So shiny.
Yeah, I'm glad that you picked up on that. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that, but yeah, that's I think about that often, especially with the cup run we're on now, 25 years later. I thought they might play around with it, especially if they're doing blue helmets, blue shorts, bring back that original, that Rocky Mountain red, but
yeah,
man.
Honestly, like if they ever redo or do the reverse retro again, like there you go.
Yes.
They can do like some variation, but got to bring back the original burgundy.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Mighty Ducks jersey in the corner.
Let's see. We have D1 and D2.
D2, you told me you got it for $3.
And those are also
okay. Was D1 like $4?
D1 was 20.
Okay. Still really good. Still really good.
This wall is. I'm all about some bargains. I will finagle the market to find some bargains. If I wanted to find a jersey, I could find it, but it's more of a challenge to find a good bargain. And you can tell the story and be like, oh yeah, that was only 20. That was 3. That was 12. Like those, that's what I like. But the D1, both the Mighty Ducks jerseys, I know they kind of stand out on a wall of Avalanche, but again, to that backstory of being here in Birmingham, I had to do a lot of defending for the sport of hockey growing up. Like around here, everybody talking about football and baseball, you were the odd man out talking about hockey, but everybody liked the Mighty Ducks movies. And that was your way of connection when it came to that. So I grew up loving D1, D2, D3, the animated series, Game Changers, but I don't know if I got older and the show stayed the same. I don't know, but the show doesn't hit me like D1, D2, D3. I mean, I grew up like Mystery Alaska, the old Disney Channel movie HE Double Hockey Sticks. I watched all of them, and that was my way of Slapshot. That's the walking dog. It's like the Bull Durham of hockey.
Yeah, favorite movie of all time, like over here.
Yeah, I've probably watched it about 30, 35 times. It gets me every time. Now that is I'm on deck of something to be added to the wall. I am going to get a Johnstown Chiefs.
Nice.
I would love to get one for the wall.
Who would you get on the back?
It's going to be a Hanson.
Oh, hell yeah. So
it's just locking down which one and if I want to do the white or the blue.
I know they sell those what was the opposing team they played in the final, the Gears. I want to get either Ogie Oglethorpe if I had the chance, or just one of that roster of goons, McCracken or someone like that.
My uncle has a jersey from the movie Goon.
No way.
Yes. I cannot remember. I think it's the Ross Ray.
The Shamrocks.
Yes. He has that. My uncle, he lives north of Birmingham, and he's a Arizona Coyotes fan.
All right.
But he plays in the beer league hockey league that we have that plays in the same arena as the Bulls. And in the off season, he skates on the same ice, and it's still got the logo and everything. But he'll show up in his Arizona Coyotes stuff. And then he's got the original Kachina. But he showed up one week with the Shamrocks Ross Ray, and I was like, where did you get that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ross the boss.
Ross the boss. He's like, I figured I'd wear it to the beer league. I was like, there you go. But he's like a
perfect. But the Mighty Ducks, and that's obviously no one on the back.
D2 is not D1. I think might be why I got it for 20, but it's Portman. But see, the thing is, he didn't show up till D2.
Ooh.
You had Fulton in D1. Right. You didn't get the Bash Brothers until D2. There was no Portman. They got him in D2, so that jersey shouldn't exist.
So it's got a pun coming. It's a foul.
It is a foul. It is a foul Duck jersey. But I couldn't turn it down. It's beautiful. Like, the quality of it is just incredible. The stitching and everything. I was like, there's no way I could turn it down. But I was torn. I was like, Portman didn't come around until D2, but he's on this jersey. So.
And then it would have been the newer jerseys.
Yes, it would have been that. Yeah, it would have been that D2
NHL
style
jerseys.
So at least I knew the movie enough not to be duped and be like running around with it. And
I mean, for like $3, you're not going to be like, hey, this isn't right. Like,
no, and it's one of those you can catch your friends who are like, oh, I used to love those movies. And I'll be like, yeah, it's a Portman. Yeah, he was great. I'll be oh, you don't. He was not in that first one. You call him out.
If you had to put someone on the other Mighty Ducks, the NHL one, and
it would be Conway. It'd be Charlie.
You wouldn't put an NHL player.
If I had to do a Duck, I could go Korea or Solani, because they were also Avalanche at one point.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you didn't put them on in 03.
03, 04.
No, I honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if you said, oh yeah, I got Koreans on there. I got Timo Solani on there in 2003, and things didn't go well for him.
No, that just, then this wall would be just very sad. It'd just be a sad wall.
Who else would be on the wall?
If I had to put names on the 90s home and away, you would have to go with Valeri Kaminsky and Adam Deadmarsh.
Beauty choice.
I feel like, especially with like all the pomp and circumstance of a 25-year celebration, I feel like those are two names that are not being brought up enough because they were incredible.
Clutch. Like, you can't, and I mean, we're seeing it this year, you can't build a team without having depth and character players.
Yeah, I used to love Kaminsky. I used to love Foote, Deadmarsh. I mean, and I see a lot of parallels in the team we have now when you can list our depth to the same level you could with those 90s era, early 2000s Avalanche teams, where you can list the depth of, like we were talking, like the Kaminsky, Deadmarsh, Foots. You keep on going down, like Stefan Yell. Like you could keep on going down the line with that depth. You can do that now with like the current, like Gerard and Tays and Graves and Makar, and you keep on going down in the D zone and your forwards. Everybody, there's people fond of Chushkin and Belmar, and like all four lines, and everybody's got fond admiration for everyone. So I feel that same parallel between the two eras of Colorado Avalanche.
Like you'll have these like fans of other teams, like Editor and Leave High, where they'll be like, oh, the Avalanche have no depth and this and that. And then I'll just be thinking like, are you watching the same team as me? And then now everyone's just like Burakovsky, Nichushkin. And then they're just like thinking like, who are these guys?
Well, see, and like we were doing great with like, we didn't really have to rehab much of the Berkey. Like he came in, he was plug and play. Belmar, they miss him in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
You can ask Vegas fans, they miss Belmar. And we took Nichushkin and completely unlocked his potential. Well,
he was like totally like under Lindsey Ruff and like under the Dallas system. He had zero, like he was done. I thought he was done. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like Yakupov, where it was going to be like, okay, he just didn't pan out in the NHL. He's going to go play in the KHL, maybe light it up, and did not happen.
I've seen his name put on a lot of Seattle Kraken draft boards, mock draft boards. Like, who would think that Valeri Nichushkin would be somebody that people would want to draft to their expansion team? Like, that's kudos to Joe Sakic and what he's been able to do with his team. He's been able to. Sam Girard was just an extra line in a trade, and now look at him.
Like, you wouldn't trade Duchesne for Girard 1-for-1 at this point.
Yeah. Oh, if Girard is playing, if he was to the caliber he is now during that trade, we'd have to give up Duchesne and EJ to get Girard.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible to see what this team's been able to do. And
Graves or someone like that.
Yeah. And Graves is another good rehab project that we've went through. Like, it's been fantastic to see where this team is.
And then I covered the Ducks jersey, the Duchesne jersey, which you told me what ended up happening with it. How much reasoning went into it before you got it? Like, how much were you like debating? Like, should I? Because I know there was, for like a year at least, there was like the rumors he was leaving Colorado. They were saying like, oh, he's going to be traded at the deadline. So at what point did you think like, okay, I'm going to get Duchesne anyway?
Well, at the time, like, you got to think in that mindset with Duchesne still on the team, without all this, the vitriol that we have for him now. Like, at the time, like, you still put up with him, you still liked him. I always was kind of fond of the guy at the time, and it was at the time the 20th anniversary of the team when that style of alternate was debuted. So I was like, if I'm going to celebrate the 20 years, it's going to have to be with Dutchie. And I thought my support and all of that would be enough, but that completely backfired. It was with the purest of will and the utmost admiration of getting that jersey. That's what made it sting so much when he did leave.
Fans will come around to him again, I think. I mean, like, say what you want about the guy. He's still a talented player. He doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Yeah. When you see him like making those little game-winning goals or contributing in Nashville, I'm just like I felt like his time in Ottawa and Columbus was his punishment, And now seeing him like have a little bit of success in Nashville, I'm like, okay, good for you, Dutchie. McKinnon, Landeskog were both kind of significantly lower when it came to like, it was Duchesne and then Landeskog, McKinnon at the time, because Duchesne was like incredible and they just couldn't coexist. But now seeing the potential of both Landeskog and McKinnon without Duchesne and what they can do when they can actually work together and not have to constantly try and appease Duchesne, I think everyone is at where they need to be, and I can appreciate Duchesne from afar. And I think it's one of those over time, like each season that goes through, I'm a little bit the feelings are kind of smoothing out just with Duchesne.
With the Kadri jersey, because the reverse retro, everybody, when they saw what it was going to be, most people were just like bananas. Like,
it's what we've been asking for years. And it's absolutely, I mean, ask NHL fans. It's one of the best reverse retros in the league. It's gorgeous. And I had to go with Kadri because I've been a Kadri fan since his skates hit the ice. Like, I used to love him in Toronto. And when I thought like he was my favorite non-Avalanche player in the league forever. And when we acquired him, I literally did a parade through my house. And I was like, I am getting a Kadri jersey at some point. And when the reverse retros came out, I was like, this is it. I am getting a Kadri reverse retro jersey. It kind of course, it's what happens with current players and the backfire, but I'm proud of my Nazem Kadri reverse retro.
Yeah, like regardless of his hit and regardless of his slump at the end of the season, I still love the guy. I still think he has the talent in him. If he gets taken by Seattle, I really hope he figures his shit out, like with him in the playoffs. I honestly love the guy. I got to see him here in Toronto up close. Basically, I got to meet him when I was like younger at a London Knights golf Storm game. Yeah, got his autograph. Wow. And like it was just crazy getting the chance to, like, he went through so much. Like the guy went through like the back and forth where he was getting sent down to the Marlies, and then he was dealing with Ron Wilson for a bit, and just I've always had a place in my heart for the guy, and I'm regardless of what happens, it's, you know.
Yeah, I've always loved him because he's like a lunch pail guy. He gets in there, he does what he's supposed to do. He doesn't want to be the guy on the posters or hanging on a banner outside the arena. He wants to get in there, win the game, and bring the level of his teammates to another level. And I respect, and he'll stick up for his teammates. And when he took up after that Brendan Lemieux hit pre-pandemic, I felt like that was him solidifying himself with the Avalanche. And it was a great moment personally for me. Like, I just felt like my love for Kadri and the love for the Avalanche blended together in that one moment. And I respect Nazem Kadri, and I hate that he's had to go through the suspension and went through all that, but he is still my favorite player in the league right now. And
then you got the Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yes, because my other Devil stuff, I had Marty Brodeur, Scott Stevens, Scherzy somewhere, but like I love the Devils. Like, it's no harm in cheering for them. I've always liked them. I always liked them because they've always been behind the Rangers and the Islanders in that area. Like, they're like the distant third. Nobody cares about the Devils, and I think that makes me love them more.
Like, I was talking with someone about the top 3 Canadian goalies in the NHL right now, or like for like a hypothetical Team Canada, and then we were saying like were we saying like Price, obviously, I'm
Carter.
forget, but
Carter Hart.
Yeah, I think. Well, no. Carter Hart, we were debating, and then we were kind of back and forth. So Price, shoot, I forget the other one, and the third one that we were debating, say for like a hypothetical Team Canada, was Darcy Kemper or Mackenzie Blackwood.
I would take Mackenzie Blackwood.
Easy.
Like I said, I watched their games and they're put together, like they're a mess. They're a mess top to bottom, but Mackenzie keeps them in so many games they shouldn't be. And he's playing on levels that he shouldn't play. Like if you're on a team of that skill level and caliber, you have every right to not try so hard. Like they're not trying to help you in the defensive zone. They're not putting pucks in net. They're letting everything through. You can just not try so hard, but he plays every game like it's game 7. And he's incredible. His numbers do not mean a thing because of the situation he's in. He's an incredible goalie. And if he doesn't last in New Jersey, somebody is going to be lucky to get him.
And that's why I really want to see, and then like it's same situation with like John Gibson right now in Anaheim. I really want to see a goalie like that get some great players in front of him because they carry a team so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes a statement when New Jersey trades like Paul Mary for the sole fact of I want him to win a cup. You love your player so much that you trade him so he can go win a cup. That tells you the state of your organization.
I guess we can touch on the last one, the one of you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So,
tell us about Sullivan.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
That's me and my number that I had growing up playing baseball and soccer. It was the year before we changed the number style from that jagged font that we use for the numbering to that smooth the numbering we use now. And I was like, I've got to get something with like, and they had they had custom jerseys. It was in the off season. I was like, I got to get at least that 3 so it still has that wall look to it. Mm-hmm. So that's my little custom jersey of the much like the one you have hanging behind you.
Yeah, it's the Unipron.
Yes, it's that style, just with my last name and the original, that my favorite font of our number. I wish we'd go back to that, but
it's perfect.
It's so good. It's
just like
that, and I hate to say it, the mini mild. I don't like saying their name. That red and green Christmas tree team that skates around the quote unquote state of hockey. That font they had when they first started, that like super like almost like hand painted jagged style font of their numbers. I used to love those.
See, I do not like. It's not just the team. I do not like. And you'll see this in the first episode, which is at the time of this interview not out yet. I do not like that identity. I do not like the name. I think the North Stars is a better name. And I'm all about the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Ottawa Rough Riders idea where 2 teams can have a Stars in the name. Mm-hmm. But if I were to name a jersey of that team that I like, it would be that one hands down, just because of the font, just because it doesn't rely on we're vintage in some way, even though we're not. It's like weird. It's unique.
Yeah, it's very unique. And I feel like that was a great move for them out of the gate in 2000 to really make their mark and be like, we're something new and different, even though everything else around it was terrible. Like, I still hate the team name, and please tell me what the Man Bear Pig is, because I still can't figure out that logo.
I mean, at least they retired their greatest player, Fans, and his number
Fan.
1.
Oh yeah,
Legend.
Nobody. Yeah. It's a silly banner, and it's on the level of Nashville's silly banners.
Not even like that. That's what like I love bringing it up mercilessly as much as possible, because it's just so, if on a scale of, I don't know what the highest scale is, on a scale of whatever the highest scale is to Vegas Golden Knights Twitter, it is below that, like Mariana Trench level. Hokey.
I would love to know who sat in on those meetings of retiring the fans as a number and the banner committee in Nashville, who sits there and first pitches the idea, and then other people say, yeah, let's do that.
I mean, there's probably like a bunch of people who are just like PR people who have never dealt with sports before, and they're just like, you know what? We're going to honor the fans. And then, like, I'm just picturing, like, who was the GM? Riseborough, I think.
Yes.
Or, like, Lemaire. And they're probably like, is that a good idea? And they're just like, yep. Minnesota fans are going to love... like, I think the only thing that would have enraged them more is if they retired the number of Norm Green, which I think they should still do. Guy's a legend.
Yeah, and we got stuck on some rough teams, but and Nashville, I hate to keep harping on them. Their banners, this is the same team that handed out Hockey 101 handbooks when the team started. Those, you could still find those. They float their way down here.
No way.
I'm about 3.5 hours from Nashville, and to this day I still haven't attended an NHL game. I know it's a cardinal sin, but I want my first game to be in Denver. It would be the easy way out to just go up the road and watch a Predators and Avalanche game. I want my first game to be in Ball Arena. But like those Hockey 101 books have floated their way down to Alabama, and I have seen one or two, and they are funny.
The best is when, and apparently they did it their expansion year, the first year, is where they would have in between the stoppages of play, where they would have the rules on the Jumbotron. They
actually passed it out on opening night, a handbook.
No way.
Hockey 101 handbooks. And I believe they were sent with season ticket holders as well, just so you knew the game.
I love it. I mean, you got to sell it to the fans anyway, because, you know, it's like a new thing for a lot of people. They're not going to be like what's this, what's that? But I mean, like how long has it been? Like 20 years?
Yeah.
They're still doing it.
I haven't seen them continuing to pass it.
Okay, it's just you see them around.
Yes, I've seen them around. And for the record, to take up for my team, the Birmingham Bulls, we did not do that when they brought them back in 2017. Everybody knew exactly what we're doing. Like,
it's not a difficult thing. Like it's not like we're not talking about like, I don't know, like rugby, or I mean, like rugby is rules, the cricket or like bocce or something like that. Like, it's like hit the puck on the ice. Whoever scores the most goals wins.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's your first day watching the sport, you can kind of get an idea within 10 minutes. If something happens, you're like, I wonder what that's about. And then they show the replay and you're like, oh, I guess that is a hook. I guess that is and you're like, okay, I guess you can't do that. You don't need a book.
Yeah,
just watch the game.
I think like one thing I'll give them credit for is this is like I mean, like internet was starting to like get big, I guess. And like not everyone, like the average schmo didn't have the internet probably. And they were just like, they couldn't like go on Google and be like, what's hockey? Like just go on Wikipedia and be like, what's icing? What's offside? So I guess like a kind of like maybe it's kind of like a time period thing, but.
And like, it sucked for me being like a guy in the South. Like you try, like it's that everybody's dumb around here stereotype that you fight every day. And I'm just like, this is not helping, guys. This is not helping. I do have.
Whoa. There we go. Yeah, that's something we got to cover.
And I have
whale. Beauty.
Yes, I am a absolute huge supporter of the NWHL and my Connecticut Whale.
Yeah.
I mean, that jersey I am extremely proud of. That's on the reverse. It's the Connecticut Whale logo on the front, but I got that one that has whale and the year I declared my fandom in 2021. We actually, me and my buddy Chris, we do a podcast called Fourth Line Minutes, and when the NWHL secured that NBC deal, we're like, we're going to take this like 100% seriously. We're going to pick a team and we're going to ride with them. So I was a Connecticut Whale. Chris was Metropolitan Riveter, and we were all about it. And I'm still like, I watched every game on Twitch. I watched their games in the playoffs. I am supporting that league however I can, because those ladies, to work a full-time job and then go play professional hockey. And then when it came to the bubble scenario of having to decide on if you're going to join your team or continue with your career, like, these ladies need to be paid and compensated, and they don't need to be making those decisions and worry about things at home or leaving a job behind. They need to be paid like the men, and we need to, you know, it might be 2021, but we need to bring some more things into 2021. And those ladies need all the support, and it's a fantastic product, great games. The Twitch streams are incredible.
Oh, 100, like right away, because like for a while, like it was kind of like watching from like this is before the Toronto got a team. And then once Toronto got a team, I knew like I got to cheer for the Six. And just seeing how enthused and how into it everybody, like following on Twitter, following like a lot of the people that were covering it, and just how into it everyone got it, like on the Twitch streams, like the Zamcam, like
yes, I was waiting
100% Zamcam.
Yes, yeah, it's hockey at its most wholesome and purest form. It's incredible. I love every minute of it. I love the Zamcam, and for us with the Connecticut Whale, we have the Zam Bonanza.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah, and hey, shout out to the NWHL merch team. They are killing it when it comes to league merch and getting behind it's coming from the fans, and like they hear you, and the merch reflects it.
Oh, 100%. Like once I get into some money, hopefully, again, knock on wood, I have a Toronto Six jersey that I gotta get.
Yeah,
like I might just have to settle for like a jersey at this point, but just like
jerseys are clutch.
Jerseys are amazing. I have a few Avalanche ones. I have a couple of laundry bins here that have a few Avalanche t-shirts that have kept me busy this whole playoffs.
And you pick a favorite player of your team, and you pick a jersey, and portion of the proceeds of that jersey go to that player.
That is amazing. That is, so, I didn't know that.
Yes. I believe all the ladies off just general team, they get a percentage of it. But if you buy like a Doyle jersey, she gets a percentage of that right there.
That is like, I mean, their whole system, just like in terms of like fan outreach and all that, but that is just a really, I guess humble thing, like not just humble, just like, yeah, just like really supporting their players, supporting like caring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm telling you, if you call yourself a hockey fan, you find yourself an NWHL team and you support them.
100%. Down the road when the new season's starting, I'm going to start watching as much Toronto Six games as possible.
Yeah. It's
100%.
Fantastic. Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to definitely call out the Connecticut Whale and the NWHL on the jersey talk as well.
There's a Nordiques jersey and there's a Devils jersey.
Yes. The Nordiques, I also have up there, I have a Birmingham Bulls hat, New Jersey Devils hat, Avalanche draft hat of Gabe Landeskog, and a Quebec Nordiques hat as well. And, around here, like I said, it gets 90 degrees. So jerseys, t-shirts, those come in clutch. I can wear jerseys at night when it's not so crazy humid, but it's t-shirt and shorts around here. So I have a myriad of Avalanche stuff, my whale stuff, my devil stuff, and my Nordiques.
I know you have all the Batman stuff there. You want to show that off?
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Because you call this the Batcave, I think.
This is the Temple of Doom.
Thank you. Yeah, the Temple of Doom.
I have over there. If I move the laptop, I will unplug the microphone.
Yeah, you don't have to move it too much.
I have Funkos and hockey pucks, all of the Green Lantern rings,
Amazing.
Pokemon, Magic the Gathering cards, Batman, Doom. I have, let me turn this just a little bit more. Wrestling belts.
Ooh. That is perfection.
I have a mini bubble hockey table over there. Let's see. And over here, my Birmingham Bulls scarf. And I have, in front of me, I have my television where I do all my hockey watching. I have a New York Knicks basketball jersey, Tennessee Titans football jersey, and an Auburn basketball jersey hanging behind my television, and a poster of Lord Stanley's Cup right here.
That is awesome. Like, I think that outdoes any hockey room I've ever seen. Yeah, but like when I saw the Temple of Doom, I was gonna say Batcave again. When I saw the Temple of Doom, I was just like seeing all the stuff and seeing like because I'd seen the wall before, but then when I saw all the Batman stuff, I was just like thinking like, holy shit, this is just like awesome.
Yeah, I have a Batman mask, I have a Deadpool mask, and a Deathstroke mask, all at arm's reach as well.
Cool. Would you ever do the thing? I don't know. Have you seen Community?
Oh well, yes, I have.
Okay, lovely. You know the episode where Abed decides to take matters into his own hands as Batman? Well, I mean, there's a few of them.
Yeah. I thought we actually we had a episode of Fourth Line Minutes, and we were going to do a Marvel versus DC episode, and because we recorded all of our episodes on Zoom because Chris lives in New York and I'm in Alabama. So when he called me on Zoom, I'm dressed. I have my Batman shirt. I have my mask on. I have everything. And I did the whole episode that way.
It's perfect. Like that.
Oh,
did you do the voice? Did you do the voice?
Well, I just kind of lowered it just a little bit. I've kind of gifted with a deep voice in the first place. So I just kind of growled a little bit. So, and also the last piece I have a D20 Dungeons and Dragons. I have a D20 dice for any decision I have to make. I roll for it.
Perfect.
So
that is, I mean, this outdoes anything I could ever dream of, really. Like just everything.
Yeah, this is it's a labor of love, and every item in here has meaning and a story behind it, and it's not just items. Like there's stories behind them. I'm looking at an original Game Boy Color with Pokemon Gold. Like,
I love that.
Like,
oh boy,
yeah, it's a museum of stories. And
I was literally going to say it's a museum. Like,
yeah,
you should give like tours of like each.
It's my life, and every one of these, it's a story and a moment from my life. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for letting myself and everyone who's watching see it and being able to tell every story about everything that you got on that wall.
I appreciate the opportunity to come on, King. I love everything you're doing, man. You keep up the good work.
Thank you. And then obviously listen to Fourth Line Minutes.
Yep. Fourth Line Minutes. You'll find me on there. We're about to start season 2 once the playoffs finish up and wrap up.
Oh man,
Chris is a busy man. He's the host of Locked On Avalanche, so he's got a lot of stuff going on. And keep your eyes peeled to the socials.
Oh yeah, you also have the Twitch.
Yeah, Shaggy Von Doom 13. You can find me on Twitch. Who knows what I'll play? I do know on Monday nights we've been doing this thing, and it's been a blast. Every Monday night we play from the Dreamcast era, the Shenmue. If you ever played that game, it's a story of a boy from Japan whose father is murdered, and it's you have to figure out find your father's killer, and we play it for an hour every Monday night. Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. We riff on everything that's going on in the game. We just have fun, and we try and figure out everything together. So, yeah, follow the Twitch stream. It's always a ton of fun. And if you follow, the Avalanche goal song plays. So it's a win.
That is awesome. I mean, you could change it to the Blink-182 song
I
for the playoffs.
Yeah, I could indeed.
Like I said, check out Fourth Line Minutes. Check out Shaggy Von Doom on Twitch. And keep an eye on Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan, and his Temple of Doom. I was going to make a Ron McClain style pun, but that has a lot of ramifications these days. No, I really wasn't. Yeah. Puns are all right as long as they're not stupid and offensive.
Hey, it's what makes the world go round.
Pretty much. But yeah, check out his stuff. Shaggy Von Doom on Twitch, Fourth Line Minutes, and keep an eye on Kyle Sullivan on Twitter for some cool stuff.